All right, so I wasn't out of the closet yet. I was on a camping trip with my club volleyball team, and there was a guy named Josh on my team who I had quite the crush on. It was day one on the trip. We all went hiking together up to the swimming hole, and we all ended up going skinny dipping together once we got there. And I was really soaking up the view while we were all swimming together. I mean, guys were getting out of the water and jumping back in. Everything was very visible when they were doing this. So I was really excited, but I was also really nervous because, like, I didn't want other guys to notice I was enjoying the view. I was also worried about them, like, seeing that part of me up close and personal for the first time. But even though it made me nervous, the whole experience was really fun, to say the least. We all ended up roughhousing in the water together and, like, you know, shoving each other, tackling each other. And Josh tackled me at one point, and he, like, pressed up against me underwater. And I noticed that Josh was at full attention. I shoved him back and tackled him back, and without even thinking about it, I grabbed Josh underwater. Josh gave me this, like, shocked look when I did that, right? And I didn't let go. I didn't really know what to do, honestly. I was kind of frozen, but I kept holding on, and we both just started cracking up laughing. It was way underwater. Nobody on the team could see what we were doing, but yeah, Josh and I were, like, dying because it was funny, I guess. Then Josh kind of gave me this, like, eye, and I let go, and we went back to just roughhousing and, like, playing how we were before. So obviously nothing could happen then and there in the water, but because Josh went to full attention, like, it made me feel like maybe him and I would get to sneak off and do something together. So we were all swimming for like a few minutes longer, and then eventually we all got out of the water and put our clothes back on. Again, when everybody got out of the water, I couldn't help but look out of the corner of my eye and, like, check out what everybody was working with. I also noticed that a few of the other guys were also looking out of the corner of their eyes and, like, checking each other out. I actually remember being kind of confused about that, like, wondering if they were also curious/gay like me, and that's why they were looking at each other, or if they were just curious what each other were working with, because boys will be boys. Anyways, we all hiked back to the camping ground. We had dinner together. We sat around the fire and, like, did the usual team building stuff. And eventually it was time to go to bed. So me and Josh and the two other guys in our tent all got ready for bed. So we got into the tent and we were talking about, like, guy stuff before bed. So I went along with everything, pretended I was into girls like I always had. And then eventually we all fell asleep. Josh was sleeping on the far side, then it was me, and then the other two guys. And it was a small tent, so we were, like, kind of stacked on top of each other. And in the middle of the night, I was tossing and turning a fair amount. Like, I don't really sleep that well in tents. The other two guys were definitely asleep, but Josh must have been awake too. He didn't say anything, but I felt him grab me, like, on my tush. It was a really light grab at first. Like, I think he literally just, like, pushed up against me with the back of his hand. But then I pushed back into his hand, and he, like, fully grabbed. Then I pulled, like, the back of my sleeping bag, like, down a little bit so that Josh could grab even better. And I'm sorry I ran out of time again, so hit follow for the next part.